together. And now, Snickers presents the WrestleMania 40 press conference.
As we all collectively take a deep breath from the night that was WrestleMania Saturday, you're taking a live look at Lincoln Financial Field, the home of WrestleMania 40, as the WWE Universe slowly files out of what was a monumental evening tonight in Philadelphia. Welcome everyone to the WrestleMania 40 press conference brought to you by Snickers. My name is Byron Saxton, and welcome to all of you who are joining us on our various social media platforms out there. We thank you for staying up late with us, as well as our media members who are here this evening. Quick reminder for you guys, when our guests appear here tonight, if you have a question for them, simply raise your hand, state your name, and the media outlet that you are affiliated with. Now tonight, we do have a host of guests, a host of victorious guests from WrestleMania 40, including the winner of the Women's World Championship match. We'll also hear from, well, as our media's filing in here, of course. Welcome, guys. I said late going crowd filing out. But right now, what we want to do, since it's fresh on our minds, is take a look back at that chaotic tag team main event, one of the most anticipated tag team main events in WrestleMania 40 history. Of course, it would be the final boss, The Rock, teaming up with Roman Reigns to take on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Seth freaking Rollins. You're witnessing the closing moments of that match as The Rock would deliver an emphatic rock bottom to the American Nightmare, and that would be only a precursor to the end, as The Rock has made a career from this maneuver right here. A cryptic sign to the WWE Universe, the one displayed for the Bloodline, and, well, a not so flattering message for Mama Rhodes. People's Elbow, the cover, and it would indeed be the Bloodline victorious in our main event of WrestleMania 40, which means we all know the stipulation. Tomorrow night, WrestleMania Sunday, when the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes challenges Roman Reigns, we now know that match will be Bloodline rules. We'll touch more on that as our night continues on, but first, we'd like to welcome our first guest. She was victorious in the opening match tonight at WrestleMania 40 in what had to be the biggest challenge of her reign to date to retain the Women's World Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rhea Ripley.
G'day, everyone.
Thank you, Rhea, for joining us. Let's head to our first question, which is right here in the front row.
I'm Cody in the field. Hi, Rhea.
Hi.
I'm a Special Olympics athlete and WrestleMania 40's community correspondent. Here's my question for you. How does it feel to retain that title and still be the best nightmare of all time?
It feels bloody fantastic, to say the least. Look, I went out there with one of the best in this federation, Becky Lynch, and to be able to step toe-to-toe with her and bring the fight to her, it meant the absolute world to me. And to be able to have it on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania XL, the largest WrestleMania there is, it's very, very special. And not only that, but to have Motionless in White be there too, everything sort of came together for Mami. And I proved once again that Mami is always on top.
Hi, Rhea. Cameron Hawkins from The Ringer. We had a conversation back in January about the authenticity that you've been presenting with your character. I think we got to see a lot more of that tonight, especially. Can you just talk about the creative freedom you've been given and how that's really helped your career to date?
Yeah, every time I step out there in front of everyone, and even doing things away from the crowd as well, I feel like I get to be the genuine person that I am. Obviously, it's a little bit revved up because some of the things I do, I would get arrested for in everyday life. But on the other hand, it's just an organic version of me. It's how I would react to things. It's what I would say to things. It's how I would feel emotionally to the things that are happening around me. And I've had a lot of creative freedom with that. I get to be myself. I get to be genuine. I get to go out there and, you know, be the badass that you all love, be the mommy that you all love, but also show that side of me where I do let you see that little glimpse into my life where I am excited genuinely about something that's happening in my life, like you saw tonight with Motionless in White, me and Chris there screaming at each other. That's a life moment right there. That's something that I've absolutely dreamt of my entire life. I've loved that band since high school, and I'm so privileged that they got to come here and be a part of this massive moment for me. So for me, I get a lot of freedom, but I feel like that works because you guys see the true person that I am, and that's what makes it easier to connect with.
Graham Matthews with the Bleacher Report. Between beating Charlotte Flair last year at WrestleMania, beating Becky Lynch tonight, does this cement the end of the Four Horsewomen era in WWE for women's wrestling?
You know, the Four Horsewomen era, it will live on forever. They accomplished so much. They took the women's division to heights that we could have only dreamt of. They've done so much for the business, and I have all the respect for every single one of them. I feel like the way that I've been going WrestleMania after WrestleMania, finally knocking off the Horsewoman, and same as Bianca Belair, she's been doing the same. We've been proving that there is a shift coming, and these new women, they are taking over, and we're showing out, and we're trying to take it to higher heights that it has been taken to. Obviously, Four Horsewomen, they're amazing at what they do, and we don't want them to leave, but they're going to have to move over because we're taking over at the same time.
Hey, Bria, this is Stephanie with Body Slam That. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
However, your Dirty Dom lost, and Finn and Damian also lost. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too stoked about it, to be completely honest. It sucks. It sucks. We really wanted tonight to be the moment for the Judgment Day where we solidify ourselves as the main threat here within the WWE. I'm always going to be proud of my boys. Always. They put up a hell of a fight. Damian and Finn were in there with many other tag teams. So the odds were stacked against them. Obviously, it's a ladder match as well. We got Finn, who's scared of heights. So that was just a setup, you know. But I feel like they still did so well. And then there's my Latino heat, my Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. And I will forever be so extremely proud of him and his accomplishments and how much he's grown in the past 1.5 to 2 years. He has skyrocketed with his confidence, and everything that he does is just so genuine, and he is proving to everyone that he belongs here. He's not just Rey Mysterio's son, he belongs here. So I'm always going to be proud of him, but there is that side of me as well where I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated. The Judgment Day, we were supposed to take over WrestleMania XL, and the boys just they didn't get it done completely. But we'll have to reconnect in the next day or two and talk about it and see what happens, I guess. Mommy's always on top, so they know that.
Final question for Rhea.
Anthony Salcedo, Instinct Culture. Rhea, this match with Becky Lynch has been one that a lot of people have been waiting for. You and I spoke about it. I spoke about it with Becky. And given just the anticipation of it all, from the moment from you walking out to the match itself, to the bell ringing, to you holding up the championship, how did you feel throughout the entire thing, and how did you feel about the performance that you guys both put on?
I think it was spectacular. Like you said, we've been building to this for a long, long time. Becky and I haven't had a match on television since NXT days. And that had no conclusion to the match because Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke came out and they absolutely destroyed that for us. So this match, it's been built up for a long, long time. And to have it at such an amazing stage as WrestleMania XL, have everything sort of fall into place with the band, with the crowd, with the everything that's been going on. It was spectacular. I feel like this could possibly just be the start for me and Becky as well. I feel like we haven't had many chances to show you exactly what we have together, and we want to make more magic. But tonight was special, and tonight, I think she was a little bit upset, you know. Don't blame her. Made sure to sit across the ring from her after everything, and I think that she might want to get a little payback at some point in her career. But right now, I'm content. I'm happy with the way it went, and let's see what the future holds.
Rhea Ripley, congratulations again. Take some time and enjoy your win here tonight.
Oh, don't worry, Byron. I will. Thank you.
Well, our next guest can be described as a mega trio, a super team, after their victory over Damage Control at WrestleMania. Please welcome Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair.
I'm on my own, against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never fall. Instead of crying, they hear me roar. And now I see that I'm way better than before. I never needed you at all. Think I fall down, I'ma watch you fall down. I'm living large now, I never needed you at all. Think I fall down, I'ma watch you fall down. I'm living large now, I never needed you at all.
Wait, I can't see.
All right.
I can't see.
That's a bop, sis. That's a bop.
I'm gonna take them off.
Glasses, like
I couldn't see.
customized, by the
I
way.
made these.
Yes, you did.
Why
Gorgeous.
don't you make me a pair in gold?
And silver.
I don't like that. I don't like that you did
I'm
that.
jealous. That's my
I don't
color.
like that at all. You know I need a patties in gold.
I'm done.
I got you.
I think these look better on me. Hold on.
Okay, y'all heard her say
I got her a pair in
I
gold.
can't see anything.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. I feel that.
That's how it was on the entrance.
I feel that.
You don't need to see, sis. You just need to glow.
Well, ladies, we appreciate you joining us with all your glam surrounding you.
It's always glam.
Let's go ahead and start off here in the front row.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sportskeeda.
I know that there's so much emotions about tonight. Jade, you officially made your WrestleMania debut in such an incredible fashion. Next to Bianca, next to Naomi. This was a historical moment. People from around the world were watching. So I would love to know your thoughts because the three of you made history tonight.
First and foremost, I would have never thought that I would have graced the stage with these two phenomenal women. I think I would have never gotten, first of all, this is Miss WrestleMania, undefeated. Then we have Miss Veteran over here that knows exactly what to do every time. I mean, look at her in the ring, guys. She knows what to do at every given moment. I would have never got this opportunity anywhere else. I'm very thankful for what I got. I would have never gotten a better start. And this is my first WrestleMania. It's only going to go up from here.
Good answer. Good answer.
I like that. You got to
Humble,
snap. You got to
humble.
snap.
Hi, Scott Felstead, Muscle and Fitness. Congratulations on lighting up the ring. You wouldn't realise how cold it was. Michael Cole said it was chilly in Philly, which it was. I was just wondering, was there word backstage about what it was like being in the ring in the cold? Did you have to warm up extra backstage? Or you worried about pulling muscles? How is it wrestling outside in this kind of weather?
Well, we actually we walked through our entrance, and when we went on the lift, and it was like what, noon?
Yes.
And it was windy and it was cold. We were
Freezing.
freezing. So we all had a conversation backstage, and we were like, look, y'all, we got to warm up. We got to get right so no one gets injured. But we knew that it was going to be cold, but we all agreed backstage. We were like, we going to bring the heat.
Yes.
We bringing the heat to WrestleMania. And when we went out there and we were up there in the sky, I didn't even feel the cold.
No.
The adrenaline was pumping. The Philly crowd was amazing, and it just felt so iconic. And to be there with these two women, it was just an amazing moment. And we brought the heat to WrestleMania. We did. I never felt the cold.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was an iconic moment.
I didn't feel it because I had my jacket and my hat on and my LEDs. So with all the light up stuff, the batteries and everything, the longer it's on, I turn it on like way earlier so that if there's any glitches or anything, the wires go short. I have a lot of shortages, but it heats up. It gets really hot. So I was actually warm. I had a little heater in my jacket.
Not me.
Y'all didn't know about that. So I was Gucci up there. I was cool.
But you gonna front like that?
Right.
Because in rehearsal, sis
It was
over here
freezing.
shaking.
What? My
She
knee
was
wouldn't
shaking.
stop,
She
man.
was cold. She was scared. She was scared of the
scared.
height.
She was
I was having to
scared.
hold her
Talking
hand.
about business.
You were scared. You was
She was shaking her
You
little
was
boots. I
scared.
was like, just hold my hand. We're going to be okay. The
Hey.
adrenaline going to be pumping. We was talking to each other.
Yeah, I
but
was
we
gonna
had
We held it down. We held it down. We held it down.
I think I got a little vertigo a little bit.
All right,
Something.
all right,
I don't know.
all right.
I got when it went to swaying and moving, I ain't like that. I ain't like
All right,
that
we
at
took it
all.
back. We held hands.
But my girls had me.
Next question.
You guys, we're having fun. This is great. Like us
having so
working
much
together,
fun.
it's something that no one would have ever fathom. Like all of us being in the same ring at the same time. Who would have thought, right? So
Yeah.
we're all just enjoying one another. Like we all have similar personalities. We're enjoying ourselves. Like that's what it's about. It's about the journey. And don't mind us right now. We're just killing things and having a great time. So loosen up.
All the feels.
We the same. We similar, but we way different.
We different, but we enjoy one another. Like who would have thought? Like I said, it's a dream.
They got to pull me back all the time.
We got you. We got you.
Cause I be bouncing off the wall. But do I get on y'all nerves yet?
No, not yet. No.
You better not say it in front of all these people.
No.
All right, let's move on. Let's enjoy another question.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you're aware, but Cody Rhodes actually invited Kip Amp Middle School here from Brooklyn. And they actually sent in a question for you. So shout out to Victor and the kids of the wrestling club.
Oh,
yeah. We see it all the time.
So
Yes.
I love them so much.
They are here and they sent in a question for you three.
She went
So,
like this to her jacket. Show the jacket off. Love it. There we go.
I need me a jacket.
They said, what impact do you think your trio will have on young girls and boys that look just like you?
Such a big impact. What I will say is that representation is so important. I always say that representation is not a request, it's a requirement.
Yes.
And I always say what's better than one, it's three. It's amazing to have one represent and be representation, but sometimes when you see just one, it seems like it's an anomaly. It seems like you have to be special. You know that it's possible, but you have to be so special. You have to be lucky. But when you see multiple representing and them all representing something different, we all come from different walks of life. We all represent something different. We all have different personalities. And that right there really shows you what's possible, and it shows you that you don't have to be special, that this is possible. So what we're doing right now is so special. And what I will say is that Naomi is someone who taught me from the very beginning when I first came into WWE. Sometimes you have that feeling where you think that, you know, if someone gets an opportunity, that means that it's taking an opportunity for you. But she showed me that if that opportunity is for you, you're not taking it from someone else, because what's for you will always be for you. And she always welcomed me when I came in. She never made me feel like there was any jealousy or any animosity. She was always happy for me. So that taught me to carry that on for when Jade came in. And now we're all sharing this platform, and it's amazing, and it's special, and it's iconic, and it's representation, and it's just so cool, and it's so dope, and it's so important that we're able to go out there and represent and show exactly who we are and inspire generations now and generations to come in the future forever. It's very special.
One of the things that really inspired me and lit a fire under me to come get into wrestling was the way it was presented to me, is that they were looking for more minority women. You know, like specifically, WWE was wanting that. They were pushing for that. And that's how I got wind of it. And so me being me, I'm like, wait, what? They need representation? What y'all talking about? What's this wrestling thing about? And that's really what it drove me to be interested in and want to come and do it, because I didn't grow up as a wrestling fan. I didn't know much about wrestling. I knew the major stars, like we all knew Hulk Hogan, but other than that, like I didn't know anything about wrestling. So when I heard about, they're looking for more minorities. You need to come do this. Like, we think you'll be good at this. It sparked something in me. And then coming in and seeing Alicia Fox, who before me, it was just her for like 6 years. And just the relationship I had with her. And even the time I came in, being one of the original NXT girls on NXT season 3, which was a completely different thing from what you know NXT as, but just going through that journey, and Cameron and I coming in together, but just always feeling like, yeah, we here, but we ain't here, you know? And I found my purpose through this journey and this experience. I came into wrestling at 21 years old. I didn't know myself at that time, but being in WWE and this turning into my career and my life, and marrying a Samoan and being married into some wrestling dynasty that I didn't even know, like it blew my mind, and getting married, like, so now I'm telling all my business, but now coming in at 21 and 36 now, this is my purpose.
Yeah. Right. And one thing I can say is, when I first signed here, the first person that reached out to me was Bianca, because people will try to pin you against one another. And we both sat there and we were just like, listen, we are both strong, dominant Black women. And what's for her is what's for her. And what's for me is what's for me. And we're not going to get in each other's way. We're going to go out there and dominate, and it is what it is. And we understood that. And we're all unique in our own way, but we're all similar in our own way as well. Like, we have fun, as you see. We're all collaborative, like we're all working together. We all have a goal of winning, like we did tonight, of course. But, I mean, what's going to stop us? Yeah. Like, it's great.
Yeah. It's about women. It's about representation.
Yes.
Okay? This is the norm. I'm ready. It's cool to be the first, but I'm ready to get away from that conversation to where it's the norm. And it's just women going out there, and we're just having great matches.
Yes.
And it's just, they had a great match. They're amazing. And that's just what it is, period.
That's it.
Naomi, Bianca, Jade, congratulations. Job well done on making some history tonight at WrestleMania 40.
Thank you.
I'm against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never
I'm like, look at me, I'm like this.
Instead of crying, they hear me roar. And now I see that I gotta learn his lyrics.
Well, tonight's WrestleMania press conference is brought to you by Snickers. Snickers satisfies. Well, our main event tonight can be described as turbulent, unpredictable, even barbaric in some ways. But after their victory over the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins, it was the bloodline that was indeed victorious. At this time, please welcome, accompanied by new WWE Hall of Famer, the wise man, Paul Heyman. He is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Our first question for Roman Reigns, right here in the middle.
Chris Van Vliet with Insight. Congratulations on the victory tonight. Mr. Heyman, you talked before that it was the third inning for the Bloodline. What inning are we in now?
I'm sorry. Did you not hear the man say questions for Roman Reigns? I'm sorry,
Reigns.
you're not going to answer my question now? So it's just a one-sided
I'm
conversation?
sorry, Mr. Heyman. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We'd
Roman
like to ask
Reigns.
Roman Reigns a question.
Roman Reigns.
My tribal chief.
Go ahead, shoot. Come on.
Roman, congratulations on the victory tonight. What can we expect from tomorrow's match?
Next question.
Very well. Next question. We're going to head towards the third row.
Could the stipulation be that this one is intelligent, please? Ooh,
Okay,
nothing.
not the third row.
No, don't go
Let's change the
ooh.
plans.
I'll give you an ooh in case you didn't listen to last night.
This one right here. Her. Go ahead. No, not you. 2 over.
Hi, my tribal chief.
That's right.
I acknowledge you.
That's right. Everybody acknowledge me. Who did that?
Ooh.
Leave. I'm serious. The lady with the glasses, get her out. Get her out or I'm leaving. Use your feet. Nope. You're wasting our time, lady.
To give Chris's analogy, this ain't baseball. There is no 3 strikes.
Y'all better get some good questions. I'm here for work. I'm here to retain the key to the kingdom. I got a big weekend here. I got a lot of work tomorrow night, so you should do your job now.
Roman, tonight you tied for most WrestleMania main events in history.
Oh, say
Tomorrow,
it again. Say it again.
Tonight,
Tied for the most WrestleMania main events in history.
tomorrow you will be
Tomorrow
breaking
you're
the
gonna
record.
break it.
Yes, and you will become the superstar with the most main events in history. Can you talk to us about that? How does that feel?
I'm already thinking about 10. Thinking about the next night. We're gonna smash tomorrow night, and then we're gonna move on. That's how it is. That's what greatness is. We don't sit in it. We're worried about the next goal. Write that down. You're gonna put it on the internet and say, I said that, but you got it from your tribal chief. Next question.
That was a very good answer, my tribal chief.
It came from my mouth.
James D'Lo from Gorilla Position. Hi, Roman. Congratulations on tonight. Pat McAfee on commentary tonight said you are currently suffering with leukemia. And I was wondering if you could clarify that. I know your health issues in the past, but can you build on what he was referring to there?
Well, I'm still on oral chemotherapy. It's a medication that I'm going to have to remain on my entire life, most likely. So yeah, that's just a part of my personal battle. It doesn't affect, thank God, I'm still able to perform. I think anybody in my position would say health is wealth. And as long as I can continue to perform, then you already know that that's at bay. So we're good. We're still in remission. But it is something that is still a part of my life, yeah.
Next question.
Hi. Roman, Chamath Karsandu for TNT Sports in the UK and Ireland. Exactly a year ago, I asked you how you felt about the result and the execution of the main event and what you have been doing for the past 3-4 years. And you were kind of almost begging for the industry to try and take the ball away from you. And I'm just wondering, now that you've put this match together with your cousin, The Rock, from a creative point of view and also a results and execution point of view, how do you feel about what you did tonight?
I feel what we did tonight, it started in 2020, August of 2020. In order to attract a global superstar like my cousin, you gotta have, you gotta be on the up and up. You have to have something special going on because he always has something special being offered. So this had to have been something even greater than even Hollywood could offer him. And he does all kinds of stuff now. He's that successful. So for him to pay attention to us and want to be involved with what we're doing, it just speaks on how special the Bloodline is and how we primed this place and made this place a destination for everybody. There's no question now. This is the place to be, and it's because of us. Through the most turbulent times, this has been the COVID, no fans, everything that's gone on. Tribal chief and the wise man keep it steady around here.
Alistair McGeorge from Metro in the UK, just over here. I know you just alluded to it on a sort of more business level. Thinking personally, what did it feel like to share that moment with your family, with Dwayne, and finally be in the ring together like that?
This is what I've been dreaming my whole life. When I got in the business, I didn't even think it, it wasn't even a thought if it would be possible, because either, he's moved on or it's going to be more of an appearance-based situation. But I've used the same mindset the whole time. On the high tide, I lift up everybody. And the first, the first thing that I wanted to do was lift my family, the Usos, Solo. And Dwayne's no different. We, like I said, we primed this thing perfectly. We set the launch pad, and then we placed the rocket, and now we took off. So if everything that we do doesn't happen, then we don't get to this point. And if I don't make the choice to, because I could have easily been like, man, wise man, we got it. We don't need anybody. But we chose to put the Usos, in a spotlight. We chose to put Solo in the spotlight. We chose to lift everybody up. And that's that's my MO, man. I'm not messing around with this bloodline thing. It's not this is for real to me, And I said it before too, and it was a long time ago, and it was almost like in the middle of a bad promo or something when I was younger. And I remember saying, man, this is real life to me. And I didn't have the substance or the direction back then, but I wasn't lying. This is real life to me. I grew up in this business. I couldn't even get away from it if I wanted to. This is everything to me. The livelihood that I've set for my family. It was a dream being out there with them. And it's been a dream to be out there with every single relative that I have.
Final question.
Hi, Roman. Cameron Hawkins from The Ringer. You marked 2020 as a changing point in how you were doing things. What creatively or mentally really was the attitude? Like, I understand adding family members, bringing them in, but from a creative standpoint, from a mental standpoint, what really changed for you with your approach going forward?
Well, we're in the middle of the pandemic. We hadn't even gone into Thunderdome. And when I'm watching it, I'm watching these guys in an empty warehouse, and I'm like, they're wrestling the same. It's the same. They're trying to do the same thing. I had the advantage of being on the sideline for that time, but I knew exactly what I needed to do. It was time to change the game. It's time to use this silence and allow your voice to be boosted. Allow yourself to take it into different dialogue. You don't have to just be sitting in the middle of the ring shouting over a bunch of people chanting. Now we can tell stories. Now we can get into deeper dialogue, Game of Thrones style, where you better pay attention. You better listen up, because next week more info's coming. And we said it from the very beginning. We didn't stumble upon this. We knew exactly what we were doing. Pay attention, because layers are coming. Information is coming. New moments every single week. We've been, how long? Where we at now? 3.5, 4 years? Come on. Every other time, other than Cena, which that was just a marathon run, every other top guy's run isn't longer than my title reign. In the modern era. All y'all geeks got these screens you're looking at 24/7. Your kids are doing the same thing. We still got them. GOAT, man.
Roman Reigns, thank you so much for your time. Paul Heyman as well, and the best of luck to you tomorrow night. Well, at this time, we welcome the other half of the successful Bloodline tandem tonight here at WrestleMania 40. He is the People's Champion, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, and the final boss. Here is The Rock.
Shall we go ladies first?
Okay, ladies first. Let's head to the front row.
Chivalry lives.
Oh, Denise Salcedo, Instinct Culture. Rock, it's been several years since you have been in the ring getting physical in an actual matchup. I want to start off by asking you how you're feeling right now coming off of that main event.
I feel great. Body feels great. I just had the time of my life. And I put in a lot of work. We had a hell of a training camp, which lasted probably about 10 to 12 weeks. And I wanted to make sure that I was as prepared as I possibly could be. These guys who I wrestled with tonight, as you guys know, they're the best in the world and on the planet. And I wanted to make sure that I came in game ready and ring ready as best I can. As you guys know, it's impossible to simulate what happens in the ring. You can run your training camps. I had a ring set up and flown to Hawaii where we were at and where I spent a lot of my time with my family, where we live. A ring in California too as well. There was a ring in Georgia to make sure that around every corner and everywhere that I went, the first quarter of this year, there was a ring. Flew in a lot of wrestlers who are really amazing and willing to work their asses off to just make sure that I was prepared. So we went out there. I enjoyed every second of that, and I've been a lucky guy over the years to have participated in some pretty cool things that have been very gratifying. There's nothing like performing at WrestleMania in front of thousands and thousands of people. And there's nothing like performing with your fellow pro wrestlers. Thank you. All right, thanks, guys.
Is that it? Nope. Okay, fourth row.
Marco Mundy, ESPN. Dwayne, it has been a very long time since we've seen you. Is this it? Do you plan on doing more? When can we see you again? I know obviously there's tomorrow night, but will there be more big matches for The Rock coming in the near future?
There might be. Can't elaborate that much on that, but there might be. I love what I do, and I love our business, and I was born into our business, as you guys know. So we'll see.
Rock in the middle here, Chris Vanini, The Athletic, Getting Over Wrestling Podcast. This was the first WrestleMania without Vince McMahon. What do you think of the job Triple H has done, and anything about the state of the company?
I think that Triple H has done a tremendous job as our chief creative officer. I think that's his title. He has a few, earned every single one of them. I like ushering in new things and new times and new eras. And it feels like in our world here of professional wrestling, it is a new era that we're ushering in. I talked to Paul Levesque, Triple H, earlier as we were kicking off and kicking off the show tonight. And without giving any detail on what we talked about. Like it's a special night for him. This was the beginning of something and marking the beginning of something new for him under his creative. And I think from a company standpoint, this is an exciting time for the company, for WWE. It's an exciting time for TKO. You felt the convergence towards the end of the year when the acquisition happened. You felt the convergence in the first quarter of the year as I was fortunate enough to come back, and as we kind of traversed our way through what these storylines could look like. And so it's an exciting time. And I think we capped off day one of WrestleMania, of this WrestleMania that we have stated was going to be the biggest of all time, which is really saying a lot, obviously, considering given the givens and how many great WrestleManias there's been in the past. So I thought that we collectively as a company and as a team put out a really good show tonight. And the best part about putting out a great show tonight is you get to do it all over again tomorrow.
Second row.
Hey, Rock, Daniel Trainer from Us Weekly here. Question for you. You know, it's no secret that tonight was a long time coming. I think there have been some stories about some stops and starts that led to tonight. Roman was out here earlier saying that it takes a lot to get a guy like you, with everything that you have going, to commit the amount of time that it took for you to come back. Was there a specific moment that you said, now is the time? Was there a promo? Was there a match? Was the bloodline in general that inspired you to say, WrestleMania 40, this time right now is when I'm going to actually do it?
Yes, there was. When Ari Emanuel called and said, hey, I'm going to buy the company. I said, okay, what does that strategy look like? And then we had discussed that. There was talks almost 2 years ago about me returning to WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. Again, it felt like everything was going to dovetail nicely into that. It's a great story. That didn't shake out in the way that we had anticipated, and that's okay. I had said back then to the people who we were negotiating with, maybe it's time to put the pencils down and we'll revisit when it feels right. So I think between putting the pencils down about a year and a half, 2 years ago regarding WrestleMania 39, the clear shift of, and the actuality of the selling of the company, I think that kind of became the impetus to really look, I think, holistically at the opportunity of doing WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. And a lot of things had to come together. And sure, the agreement and the deal, I'm not worried about that, especially when the negotiations are between myself, Ari Emanuel, and Nick Khan, both of whom I've known for a very, very long time. Nick and I actually go back to Hawaii when we were kids, and Ari I've known for over 20 years. He's my lead agent and business partner. So I wasn't concerned about the agreement. I was more so, my number one priority was, can I come back and add real value this time around and not, coming back for hot shots one at a time, maybe. I make an appearance one night. That's fun. It's fun for the fans, but I wanted something a lot more substantial, and not only a lot more substantial, but something that we can really build upon. And so these past 2-3 months, I think we've been laying groundwork nicely, and not only building for WrestleMania this weekend, but also I think beyond that, and building for the future and what that could look like.
One final question.
Let's do two.
Two final questions.
Okay, that sounds better.
Hey, Rock, thanks for taking the time. Graham Matthews with Bleach Report. going off everything you just said, talking about, coming back, doing something you haven't done before, the pivot obviously has been talked about a lot this week, Rock and Roman being the original main event, seeing what we're seeing now.
Sure.
Just talk about how you guys have handled that and what we would have seen originally with you talking about, before the pivot even happened, just mentioning how this is going to be something that, like you just mentioned, not just coming back for one shots. I mean, this is something that you really want to kind of reinvent the wheel. We're seeing that now, but if Ari doesn't buy the company and that sort of stuff, what does this Rock run, or what does this Rock return look like?
Well, one of the many benefits of this world of professional wrestling, I believe, is you have the opportunity to not only hear the fans, but more importantly than hearing the fans, is listening to the fans. Because to me, there's a distinct difference between hearing and listening. And then the other part, and perhaps the most important part, is then take action. And so with the pivot that you're talking about, it was an opportunity in front of us. So when I came back, the goal was to come back, and it was going to be The Rock and Roman Reigns. That was the idea. This was back in, I think I made an appearance on SmackDown when we were in Colorado, third quarter of last year. And the idea was to start setting the table of a Rock and Roman WrestleMania main event, WrestleMania 40. So as we continued to stand everything up on its feet, we realized that we had an opportunity to listen to the fans. One of two things could have happened. We could have either trucked through it, which there were a few opinions in the room. Hey, of course we've titled them the Cody Crybabies, which is, fun branding, but the truth is they matter, and fans matter, and their voice matters. And we had this opportunity to really listen to them again. So one of two things could have happened. We could have either trucked through it or listened. And in this case, it became crystal clear to me after Birmingham, Alabama, where we had that moment in the ring. If you guys may remember, I came in, Cody, in essence, passed the opportunity on to me. Roman and I had that face-off. And it was just a few days after that I was in Hawaii, and I remember waking up and going, I think I have what this pivot should be. And that is not only listen to the fans, but let's give them what they want, what they've invested in for the past couple of years now, which is this idea of Cody Rhodes completing his story. But then the B-side to that, the exciting part for me, number one, was to deliver something for the fans, but also, now let's make a change, and let's go Rock 10.0 and what that looks like and what Final Boss looks like. And let's take the agreement and the deal of the appointment of the board as a director, the ownership of the name The Rock and all that goes along with it. Let's utilize that and leverage that in a real way, and that real influence and power, and inject it into the storyline as Final Boss. So bottom line is, I couldn't be happier with not only the pivot, but more importantly, everybody buying in to that, because it's a big shift and you got to buy into it. And everybody did, and here we are. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Final question for the Final Boss.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Tomorrow, night 2, WrestleMania 40, Bloodline rules. What can we expect? We know the Bloodline is vast. Can we expect any surprises?
You can. You can. What's your name? Emily. Yeah, Emily. Absolutely. Final Boss can't tell you that. I can't tell everybody that. I got to keep everybody guessing, including Cody Rhodes. That's important. So, yeah, great question. You can sure expect the unexpected and a lot of surprises. Appreciate you taking a swing. Take a swing. Take a shot at it. What can we expect? You have a question? Yeah. Sure.
In 2003, you had a moment where The Rundown came out, and in that, you had a moment with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Where he basically passed the torch.
He said, have fun.
He said, have fun. And that was a moment for you when you were basically taking on the opportunity to become the next great action star.
Yeah.
And now you've gotten to the point where you're older than he was at that point. And it doesn't feel like you're passing the torch. It feels like you're entering a new kind of stratosphere. And you also have like an opportunity to do a movie with A24. And it feels like you're transitioning into this whole new era, not just Rock 10.0, but Dwayne Johnson feels like you're developing differently. Can you kind of talk about just how you feel like the last couple of years have been for you and what caused you to kind of make this new transition this late into your career?
I can, yes. It's a great question. I realized that you're very attuned, by the way. That's a great question. And then we could wrap it up. I know everybody's tired, and I need a cheat meal, and some tequila. A couple of years ago, to the T, actually, I started to realize, I started to look at my career and look where I had been lucky enough to go and look to where I do want to go as I move forward in our crazy lives. And I realized then a couple of years ago that I had reached a point in my life in a position where, again, I'm very lucky, very fortunate. I work hard. I believe in hard work, a little bit of luck, and surrounding yourself with people who are a lot smarter than I am, which isn't hard to do. And I realized that I was lucky enough to be on a mountaintop. A few things could happen. I could either be satisfied or ride off into the sunset, or kind of just ride the success I've been able to have, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Or the other option, I didn't like any of those options. The other option that I realized I want to do is I want to go make new mountain, and I want to go make more mountain. And what does that look like? And who can I partner with, and who can I build? And in that, you mentioned A24. We're shooting that movie with Benny Safdie. We're going to start very soon, next month, with Emily Blunt, too, as well, and A24, as you had said. It's called The Smashing Machine. I look forward to that, and I look forward to, in any, whether it's in Hollywood or any vertical of business, is just building new mountain. That's where I'm at in my life, and that's where I'm at in my career. So this Final Boss idea and run, I don't want it to be finite. I want it to continue. And so this is all part Final Boss of building new mountain with a company that I love, that's in my blood and in my DNA, in WWE, and in a world that I love, this professional wrestling. But same thing applies to Hollywood, and same thing applies to all this other stuff that I'm lucky enough to do. I also realized a couple of years ago that I want to make sure, I've reached this point in my life where, and we all get there, whether we're there already or whether you're going to get there, is I want to make sure that when I'm waking up in the morning, the thing that I'm doing, I'm loving it and I'm running towards it. I want to wake up and run towards it. I don't want to wake up and kind of get pulled towards it and go, oh man, I got to do that. Which, again, we've all been there. But so that's the point I'm at in my life. So the A24, the Smashing Machine, WWE, Final Boss, some of this other stuff I'm doing, I'm getting up and I'm running towards it, and I could just give all my passion to it. And it's all about, these days for me, building new mountain. And what does that look like? So thank you, man. Thank you, everybody, so much. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Thank you. Good job, Emily.
Well, lastly, we welcome the Chief Content Officer of WWE for some remarks. Please welcome Paul Triple H Levesque.
You think after
I don't know, what, 25, 30 years now, I would have learned never follow the rock. But here I am. Anyway, thank you all for being here. And I just want to take a second to thank our partners for tonight, which I thought was a spectacular evening, but I just want to take a second to run through that. Lincoln Financial Field were amazing partners, as well as the Eagles here. And Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia Visitors and Convention Center all made it possible for us to be here. You know, I feel like when we come into these cities and we sort of take over, in many ways, it's imperative for us to have the right partners in those locations and in those cities, and it couldn't have been any better than it was and is right now here in Philly, still continuing. And thank all of you. It's a packed room. I don't know if the guy before me had anything to do with that, maybe a little bit, but I really appreciate it. We also have, just over the course of this week, other partners that were instrumental in us being here. Partnership that we have with Michael Rubin and Fanatics to create a WWE World, which is, you know, WWE is such an impactful part of so many people's lives that I think in many ways, as I've seen through my career and everything I've done, it touches people's lives, whether it's this unbelievable form of entertainment where they can just escape from their everyday things that they have to go to or go through, or whether they're dealing with some incredible hardship or whatever is going on in their life, whether it's 3 hours on a Monday or 2 hours on a Friday or whatever that is, where they can just shut off, escape, go into this fantasy world and just be there and experience everything, the energy, the excitement, the ups and the downs of that, and just make them forget about everything that's going on in a place where they can just go enjoy. WWE World is a place for those people to come together and be in that environment, in that world, so to speak. And it's an incredible partnership. I think that as I got to experience a little bit over this weekend, fans seem to just be incredibly excited about and excited to just be in that environment. We look forward to doing a lot more with them on that. Our superstars this week appeared in so many things, dozens of television shows, podcasts, The Tonight Show, First Take, The Today Show. Pat McAfee was doing his entire ESPN show from WWE World. Joe Tessitore and SportsCenter are probably still live upstairs right now. That's been incredible. Also, our community outreach here has been just an awesome part of what we do. I think for our superstars, our staff, for all of us, it's probably one of the favorite things that we do in these environments. When we come in for a WrestleMania, we're here for a week. For us to be able to connect, with Make-A-Wish kids from the area or from all over the globe that come here to be a part of WrestleMania, whether it's Boys and Girls Club and supporting that or Special Olympics, it was an amazing experience here for our superstars and hopefully for them as well. So I just wanted to mention our partnerships with them. Last night was the highest grossing SmackDown of all time. And I'll back up from that. Raw in Chicago leading in was the highest grossing television event that we have ever done domestically. SmackDown, highest grossing of all time. This afternoon, NXT, Shawn Michaels and that crew set a record for NXT, which I just want to take a step back and just my hat's off to them. What they've accomplished in the last few years with NXT has been nothing short of amazing. You see kids there that from the time they very first stepped through the ropes for the absolute first time, within a year to 2 years, are just lighting the world on fire, and you can see that future developing right before your eyes. Every time I watch NXT now, to me, it's like a breath of fresh air, because I think, like, wow, our future is just incredibly bright. Like, all the talent that we have, and I see what Sean is doing there, and I see what is set up behind him to come next, and it's incredible. So proud of them for getting that back to where it needs to be. It's nothing short of remarkable. Tonight, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. We said it a lot, and we'll have more numbers tomorrow and Monday. But we broke our all-time single night gate record here tonight. That is something that Nick and I and the team spend a lot of time pouring through, is how to increase that, but yet still remain in that zone where anybody can come to a show. We're not pricing our fans out of the market. We are very conscious of making sure that everybody out there can enjoy WWE. And that's important to us. So it's not just all about the money and the numbers. It's about making sure everybody can take part. 75,542 in attendance tonight. Amazing night for us. Was incredibly excited. I thought the show was spectacular. I thought talent delivered. Mother Nature wasn't the most cooperative with us this week, throwing everything at us from small earthquakes to some very cold and windy weather. I'm glad it didn't rain, but it was a bit chilly at ringside. I don't know if any of the other talent talked about it, but I've heard quite a few stories about wind gusts that just put a chill through people. And when you're having to be physical in what we do, that's a difficult situation. So my hat is off to the talent tonight, all of them. I could go through the matches, but I think everybody here would have the same opinion. They just all put on a tremendous performance. And I would want to single out Rock, because when you don't do this on the regular, it is incredibly difficult. That could be physically the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, is trying to do this on occasion. And for him to come back, for him to want to come back and do this, I know his passion for it, the Goosebump things I've been watching for 30 years with him, and he has the passion that we all have for it. There's absolutely no form of entertainment like this on the planet. Nothing else can do that for you. So I know why he comes back, but the dedication, the sacrifice of somebody that does not have to do this to come back and entertain our fans, to, as he said, to create a new mountain for himself and take that challenge. My hat's off to him. This is not easy. What he did is not easy. And he looked like he'd never missed a beat. He looked like he was in better shape than ever. He looked like he was moving as well as ever. Remarkable. And I also just want to say thanks to him, because, again, he doesn't need to be here. But I appreciate, I think one thing that's always bonded in some way, he and I know he said that we had a conversation earlier, which meant a lot to me, for sure. But the thing that's bonded us in a way is our passion for this. No matter all the other things that were going on, we both understand that deep inside his DNA, this is what he loves. And same for me. And I think that is a bond for the two of us that can never be broken. And I think we've had a blast here in this journey of creating the final boss and all that it means. If you told me a few months ago that he would have gone down that road of turning heel, I would have thought you were insane. But the second it was brought up, there was no doubt that it was the right thing to do. So excited for it. This is a unique situation where night one of WrestleMania feeds into night two, and the story carries on. How does Cody overcome? A lot to think about overnight, and a lot to see tomorrow. So excited about it. We're just getting started, and as I said at the beginning of the night, when I was fortunate enough to be able to go out there and experience that crowd, this is a new time on all levels. Dwayne just said the same thing. New time, new era, and we're just getting started. So I don't see this as the culmination of the hard work that's been happening over the last year, 2 years, or whatever. I see it as the launching point. I see it as this is the start. This is the beginning. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
We'll start off in the third row.
Philip Up, Awful Announcing. I have a two-part question. Just take me through tonight as your first night as head of creative, and what did Paul Heyman's comments mean to you in his Hall of Fame speech last night?
Well, so to talk about Paul Heyman, he is one of the greatest minds in this business, the greatest talkers in this business. So, you know, if you have that level of respect that I have for Paul Heyman, and then he's standing on that stage on a night that's supposed to be about him, and he is saying those things about you, it's incredibly meaningful. I was very touched. Paul and I always have had a wonderful working relationship. His Hall of Fame ring has an insignia on the inside. They can get whatever they want engraved on the inside, what's important to them. And Paul said, I leave it up to you. He would have to tell you what I wrote in there if he would want to, because it's between he and I. But if he wanted to tell you, he could. But the word that I put inside of his ring is exactly how I feel about him. So, meant a lot. As far as what tonight was, just incredible. You know, it's a very personal business for me. And I hear the word, and everybody will read into this, whatever. But I hear the word, oh, I love this business, or oh, that guy loves this business, or this person loves the business. I love this business. I hear that a lot. But I see it in certain people. And there's as kids say, there's levels to that, right? So there's a certain passion that you just can't take out of people. When I said tonight in the ring, I live for this, I meant it. I think it's the greatest form of entertainment in the world. And I want to see it continue. I want to see it thrive. I want to take it places it's never been before. The team that we have is incredible. I want to work with the most talented people in the world. I want to work with Nick Khan. I think he and I make magic together. I do. I want to work with Rock. I think he and I make magic together, have for 30 years. You know, it's all about creating new stuff, taking it places it's never been before. So as the first one, sort of, or as the first night of WrestleMania, that was in my role, unique to me and my responsibility. It was incredible.
Mike Hoppinger, ESPN. Triple H, you mentioned earlier, how impressed you were with The Rock, and of course how difficult it is to do this after not doing it for 11 years. And as somebody who's been on both sides of it, both as one of the best performers, but now on this side as well, is there anything that Rock did that really impressed you above all else that you could pinpoint? And also maybe that was a surprise?
I think so. It wouldn't be the physical part, right? Because I think he loves this, and he's going to throw caution to the wind. He's going to do it, right? And it's going to be amazing. But he's going to go all out. And when you've done this a long time, and you're around it every day like that, you see composure in people that I can spot it in people now. It's my job to spot it in people now, right, to some degree. So I can spot it and tell you who's comfortable, who's not, who's running through a bunch of stuff and doesn't feel it, who's just doing things. The most impressive thing to me was his composure and his being in the moment and his feel. So I could see him feeling everything that was happening. I could see it resonating in him, and I could see his composure. When you haven't done this for a while and adrenaline hits you and you're in front of all those people and man, you're zoned in fast and you move fast with it and you think you're not, but you are. And, it's the thing that you see stars that have been doing this a long time that have really gotten to that next level, that there's a calm. He was calm. And to be gone that long and be that calm and that composed and that in control and feel and let it happen and feel it and digest it and then let it come out of you, there's not very many people that can do that, because that's the part that escapes you. You still do all the same stuff maybe. You still know where to put it all. You still know the reactions that it might get, but that composure is what makes the magic. And he still has that magic. He still feels every single bit of it. It's, again, though, it's why he gets the goosebumps, right? Like that's a part of it. So if I was to say anything, it's that composure, having been gone that long, that just, to me, that's awe-inspiring.
Hi, Paul. Isa
Hi.
with Lucha Libre Online. Congratulations on an excellent night.
Thank you.
I just wanted to go over the decision of starting the show with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. I think the start of the show is as important how it ends, and it was awesome to see the women kick off the show tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, look, everything goes in the show for a specific reason and to where it sits for, and it's not a perfect science, right? In many ways you're feeling it, like I just talked about, right? So what's the feel of the show? But I don't know that clearly in this night with The Rock here, you're closing with The Rock, right? That clearly. But when I looked at the rest of it, it wasn't even a choice for me. Like, that Becky and Rhea are going to open the show. That is, I know it's going to deliver. I know it's going to be incredible. I know they're going to go at it right from the get-go. The entrances are going to be spectacular. Like, all of it is going to work. So when I look at it, to me, it's like, what do I want to launch this with? What's my first step out of the gate? And there was no doubt for me. And I don't look at that, and I've said this before, I do not look at that as, the women or did they deserve this or did they deserve that? Like, it's not that. If the women are put in the spots because it's the best spot, right? And I truly believe that. I don't think about it in that manner. I don't think the women should go here, or and to me, if I was thinking about it, as we're putting all this together, in my mind, if I was thinking about it as to like, maybe we should put the women in that, maybe, or maybe we should do something with the women there. We haven't done that for a little bit. Like, what? Then how is that equality? You know what I mean? Like, it's not how it should be thought of. I see every athlete we have as the same. Doesn't matter to me, male, female, anything else, doesn't matter.
Hi, Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics. I was wondering if you could give us an update on the status of Brock Lesnar. Is he still under contract? And was there a plan for him to return at the Royal Rumble at any point? And is there any consideration for him to return at this point?
So they're at one point, there was a conversation with Brock about Royal Rumble quite a long time ago. Right now, Brock is home, being Brock, and we'll see where that leads to, from here. But the status is the same as it's been before. Brock is not gone from WWE. He's just home being Brock.
Final question.
Jan Murphy, Post Media in Canada. You talked a little bit earlier about Shawn, and Shawn's perhaps most famous for his WrestleMania appearances. Sami Zayn continues to have amazing WrestleMania appearances. What do you see in Sami that might be similar to what we saw in Shawn? Big time, performer on big platform like WrestleMania.
So a lot of people would look at Sean back then, even now, and they would see Sean as this like spectacular performer, right? Like the moves that he did and all these spectacular things that he did. You know, Sean was doing a lot of that at a period of time, maybe before everybody else was, which is why I think so many younger talent resonate towards him, because he was so good. But the thing that made Sean so good was his ability to pull emotion out of you. It wasn't the moves. The moves were like the special effects. Sean is unbelievable at getting emotion out. So when you hit Sean and he goes down and he sells, you feel bad for him. And you want him to do better, and he just can get that emotion out of you. When Sean begins to then make a comeback and begins to fire up and begins to put that anger out or whatever it is, that aggression out, you believe it and you buy into it, and he's a pit bull when he's on you. It's emotion. We sell emotion. We build stories and sell emotion. It's not the moves, it's not the spots, it's not the sequences or whatever, however people want to say it. It's emotion. Yes, those things all lead into it, but without it, it's just a video game or it doesn't mean anything. What you saw in Sammy and Gunther tonight was two people that are geniuses at pulling emotion out of you, and that's Sammy's calling card. Yes, he does spectacular things, but his ability as a performer, as an actor, as whatever you want to call it, to pull that emotion out of people is awesome. And it's why he's in the spot he's in. It's why he's as good as he is. Thank you.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us.
Thank you all for being here. I'm guessing I'll see most of you tomorrow. So thank you. Go home, get some sleep. I'm going to try to for a couple minutes, and then start working on tomorrow. So thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Well, thank you to all our superstars who joined us here tonight. And of course, thank you to all of you for spending some time with us. That concludes our WrestleMania 40 press conference. We will see you tomorrow night for WrestleMania Sunday right here in Philadelphia.
I know there's nothing after